Hello, hello, hello. How are we doing today?
What's up, everybody? What's up, Patrick? How was your
Man,
week?
my week was it's been good. It's been very, very, very busy. Yeah, but it's been good. It's been great
Nice,
actually. Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
So, how about you?
always busy, never ends.
Yeah.
Not only shed testing is busy as ever, day job busy as ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's great, awesome. No time for
Oh,
anything. But
I love it.
we could just tell everybody now that it's no longer shedtesting.com, it's aura.com, and send all your sheds to Patrick.
Do it. That's gonna
Thank you.
be guys, he's only moderately joking. I love it. Before we get rolling, let's say some hellos to some people in the chat since
Yeah.
they decided to spend part of their Saturday night with us.
I mean, what
Big
else is
D's
there to do on a
Pythons
Saturday
and
night?
Geckos. Team Jared. Don't know about that. But that's okay. You know what? We love everyone here. Who else we got? Python Prince.
Yeah.
How we doing? HJS Serpents dash Rich, lowercase Rich. So are you are you signifying your first name is Rich or that you have all the money? I like to think it's all the money personally. I'm not allowed to bully people in this moment. I'm sorry, Rich. I apologize. I can't help myself. Boza
Okay.
Reptiles. Hey, buddy. How are we doing? Gerald. Hello, all. Oh, the Herpin Harbins. I look forward to seeing y'all in Atlanta. It's going to be a good time. 319.
Chris.
Oh, my goodness. Selective Creations. What is going on? Charlie and Patrick. I always preferred Patrick and Charlie, if we're being honest.
Nah.
You know, I don't know. Maybe that's just me. Brian Bode. Hey, bud. How you doing? Oh, my goodness, guys. I'm excited about tonight. There's a lot that we can talk about. We got some new tests to announce, and we can talk a little bit about some struggles I think the shed testing industry in our little world has in general, and why some of the tests are a little tougher to make or validate than others. So I think we got some fun topics to talk about tonight, and I hope everybody
Yeah.
loves it.
Yeah. I
Mommy
mean,
and
we've
me
definitely
geckos,
been
what's going
busy.
on?
What's
Yeah,
up, Big Mike?
been crazy busy. So I guess let's start first with just backlog on shed tests. I think you told me today you still have like 200 plus sheds that need to be run.
Well, we were all caught up on like Thursday, Wednesday, and
Well, that's what I was gonna get to. Yeah.
like I'm always like excited when like my employee could go to the PO box and like get here and just start testing stuff that came in that day and give people results like that afternoon or that evening. That's always fun, like to get people's reactions like, wait, that just got delivered today. Like, yeah, it's, but we get them all done. It's still usually only a few days,
Yeah.
sometimes some tests like I explained to you and some other people, like the fire test's a pain in the butt because it's two tests. There are two testable lines of fire that are compatible, kind of like Ultramel A and B.
Oh, I thought we were keeping that a secret.
No,
We didn't want any competitors to know that they might not have both tests.
no, it's okay.
Oh, it's okay. We're talking about that now.
Yeah, no,
Surprise, guys.
Yeah, there's two lines of fire, that testable lines, and like Ultramel and Yellow Belly, there's pretty much one main line, and randomly once in a blue moon, aka Patrick, has Ultramel B in all his stuff, so I have to test them for everything. But this one, it seems like it's almost 50-50. There's no like line that's like, oh yeah, this one is the majority, or this one. So every time it's testing for both of them. So my next time I have a little bit of free time, I'm going to work on the multiplexing just so that I could run tests like that in one shot.
Yeah.
Which means it's just going to be more money spent
on the front end, but it'll make things better for you and the customers, honestly, because turnaround times will be faster. Yeah. So, as far as backlog goes,
no, it's
a
good.
constant. Yeah, it's a constant state of insane amounts of sheds, which is great.
Right.
But fortunately, Charlie and his employee are crushing it and processing stuff pretty quick. So while there is a shit ton of sheds to do, not really much of a backlog. So that's a big win.
And
We'll
like,
take that.
thing I would like to do is like possibly hire somebody just
Hey,
like
Jessica.
on the research and development side, like somebody even that I could just have, because I have multiple machines that could run these tests, and I'm only one of them. Maybe somebody that's just doing all my validation runs, and because honestly, it's you would think that I'd have more time, but I don't, because all the time in the evening is spent like checking results, giving out results, talking to people nonstop. You know,
You got to stop
stuff.
that. You know,
Yeah.
you got to really like it. You need to find a middleman that's going to be your customer service person. That
Okay, Patrick.
I'm in. Yeah. We can negotiate a salary. It's fine. What you're going to find real quick though is your customers are going to say that they're not talking to anyone. So
yeah.
it'll be good. No, man,
but
it's a lot. It's a lot of work, and I don't think people realize the amount of work. And we've talked about it in previous episodes, and we will continue to harp on this, guys. The hard part of this whole thing is validating tests and making sure that we trust the results that the tests are spitting out.
Right.
And that can't be done with 10, 20, 30 shed tests. It's hundreds of tests. And as we'll talk about a little bit later, even if one or two tests come back weird, if we can't explain why it's weird, we have to keep validating to confirm to make sure that we're comfortable with the results, because at the end of the day, this shit's important.
Right.
And this isn't a mistake that causes just a momentary issue and we move on. These are issues where you might take a male and breed it to 20 females over a period of 2 or 3 years, and all of a sudden you have hundreds of offspring that are all messed up because of this. And you're talking tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars for some people. So like this stuff matters. So, you know, when Charlie talks about being crazy busy, like it's a lot of validation that goes into making this stuff.
Yeah. And the busy part too is like we talked about earlier, when something doesn't make sense on a test result, I try to keep talking. I try to have constant talk with my customers. And so if something, they're comfortable reaching out to me like, hey, are you sure on this? Are you sure on it? Let me go back and double check. Let's look. Let's see. What do you got? Yeah. Let's see your parents. Like those are things that then you figure it out. You know, I think that relationship between me and the customers is huge. Not just throwing in a result and saying, here you go, good luck, you know. But I like that takes time. All that takes time.
It's a lot. It's a lot. Look, the networking aspect of all of this is super important. And I'd argue, honestly, more so with you with the shed testing than even me with the snake sales. Like the shed testing is almost exclusively word of mouth for the most part. And there's just so much networking and communication with customers that has to happen. You know, we were driving today. My wife was in the car, and, you know, you and I are on the phone talking through some stuff. And she's like, are y'all ever just not on the phone? And we're like, no, we're always talking to someone. Like we're trying to figure stuff out and network and make sure. And, you know, especially lately as, you know, we've been trying to work out lace stuff, which we'll talk about towards the end. It's been a lot more effort. And that, my friends, is why it's not free or cheap. Also why Charlie looks like he hasn't slept. Yeah, no, Charlie looks old as shit now, guys. He's aged like 14 years in the past 6 months.
A lot more grays going on over here than I had last year.
Yeah, it's good for you though. That means you're working hard.
But yeah, and then like that as well, we could get into like the free and cheap thing. Like I've noticed last year I did way too many tests for way too cheap or free or trades or, you know, a lot of sponsorships and everything like that. And it's like, all right,
you're in. It's time to move into the money making era. Okay,
and not even like I don't even care about taking the money out for me and being like, oh, let's buy a car or go on a vacation or whatever. It's
you got to feed the machine.
If I had extra money laying around, like I could buy some cool shit to make everything better, you know. But you know, I don't have. I'm not working at a professional lab. Everything that people use, I'm buying these things and they're not cheap. Like I talk to companies all the time and they're like, oh, we could give you the cheap one. It's $120,000. I'm like, oh, okay, great. You remember I test snake sheds, right? Like I'm not coming up with cure for cancer here. But so yeah, money is needed, but I also know that people aren't selling snakes for as much as they were. And I try to do my best I don't want people not testing their sheds either. Like I don't want people saying, oh, oh, I have all these and I can't do anything because I don't have this much money. And I try to work it out with everybody and try to figure something out. But,
Yeah.
There's definitely money that needs to be spent. So people think I'm sitting here driving around in a Ferrari or something because I'm literally flooded with sheds every single day.
Yeah.
I'm not. Like it's
just a Mercedes.
It goes. Yeah, just a but it's a private jet.
Yeah, it's the private jet. No, I think that's something too, like, I think is important to emphasize, right? Is it's like you said, like a lot of the money that's going into the business is being used to fuel more business, and also, like you said, like help turnaround times. These instruments aren't cheap.
Right.
Cheap versions of these instruments are like $40K, guys. And that's like a low end one that isn't going to be as optimized as what it could be. Right. And so, like, while you talk about, and when I talk about the money making era, like it's not a joke. Like at this point, like early stages of a company, you're building a brand, you're building a name, you're building a reputation, you're doing things for trade, you're sponsorships, whatever, right? Because like you're just trying to get ubiquitous. Shedtesting.com's kind of ubiquitous now. So now it's like, okay.
I've got about 2 or 3 people today and yesterday that messaged me like, hey, I didn't know you did shed testing.
It's a good feeling.
Sending my stuff to you. I'm like, okay. It's like, that's the thing. There are a decent amount of people that don't watch or follow what's going on. And that's why, like, even this one guy was messaging me about a few things. I'm like, call me. Obviously, you don't pay attention to what's going on. Like,
let's talk.
YouTube, following things. You're not in the community as much as you should be, but you are a decent sized breeder. So let's talk. Let me talk to you about what's going on, what everything is, what the deal is.
Yeah.
Because there are people like that. So that's why it is even more important that when we release these tests that they work.
We can't just assume that everybody is on top of it like some of us, right? There's people in the industry that they watch every bit of content that comes out or listen, and they are on top of everything. They know the nitty, the gritty, they know it all.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, big breeders like you're talking about, they don't know anything. And it's not because like they're an ostrich with their head in their head. They're busy. Guys, once again, like breeding snakes is a lot of work, a whole lot of work. And not everybody has time to watch or listen or prioritizes it, right? Maybe they have time, they just don't know to prioritize it. They trust things, and they just roll with it. So, I think it's good, right? I hope that's something people appreciate as well. Like when you're shopping around, like turnaround time sometimes isn't the only thing you should be wondering, right? Accuracy, the person you're buying from. There's a lot of layers to it. And I'm not saying like other companies aren't doing stuff. I'm just saying like if price is your only indicator, that's probably not the best thing you should do for your business, because the foundation of your business is based on this testing for the most part. And so you need to really make sure you feel 100% comfortable with whoever you choose. Right. Because
and it might not be me,
and I get it. Like some people just don't like New Yorkers. I hate them. They're all terrible. Every one of them. Texans equally as bad. But like you need to make sure you're comfortable. So like think about that too, right, guys? Like if you find a company that you're comfortable with and they're $3 or $5 or even $10 more expensive per test, ask yourself like, yeah, but can I sleep at night knowing that the test may not be what I'm comfortable with? Or, if you go with that company
sleep at night, because that's my biggest, like I go to sleep with anxiety. I wake up with anxiety. It's like horrible.
That's good.
Like,
no, that's good for everybody else. You care. Yeah, it's great for everybody because you care.
It's good for everybody else, but it's horrible.
Charlie, I feel like I've told you before, like that's one of the biggest things like in grad school is like once you really start your PhD project, you never stop thinking about it. It's the only thing you think about. And there's constant anxiety of, is it going to work? Did I do the right thing? Did I do the experiment? And that's what you're experiencing now. And it's good. It means you care. And that's what's important here.
And that's the other reason why, like I could bang out all the sheds sitting on that table right there tomorrow. I could run a couple of hundred a day if I want to.
What's going on, James?
My big thing is I've noticed that when I do too much, there's more chances for things to get fucked up.
Yeah.
So I like to keep them in more manageable batches. We're still doing way more at a time than we did when I first started, but I still like to keep it in manageable batches. Like that's why I have multiple machines. I could be running a lot more at once.
Yeah.
But then there are machines that I could buy to help with that, to keep the human aspect out of it. And those are the very expensive machines that I go back and forth on whether or not it's worth for me to buy or not.
Well,
But
I think this year is going to be a banner year, and I'm going to force Charlie to stop giving everyone as big of discounts so that we can afford to make this even better going forward. So if Charlie tells you can't go cheaper, guys, know it's because I'm standing next to him with a pipe about to break his shins for not getting enough money from you. Okay?
Yeah.
So blame me and Aura Reptiles. Just blame us. It's fine.
Yeah. And just don't buy anything from them. Just give me all your money.
You know what, guys? Do that too. Do that too. That's fine. That's okay.
Stop buying
Don't
snakes.
Stop buying snakes entirely. Just it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah.
I love it. All right. So we've been working.
We could go over some tests I ran today.
Yeah,
So today
I was
I
about
did
to say some validations that happened.
Yeah, I
today.
did some
What are we looking
validation
at?
tests today. So OD is one that we've been working on for a while. Well, we're not working on constantly, but I had OD data back for a long time now. First time we tried it, we didn't get anything really good, but I started looking at the data again, and I came up with another location I wanted to test about 2 weeks ago. And I ran just small amounts. First time, 100% accurate. Ran another small amount today, 100% accurate. So I got to just do, now that I've done a couple small runs and it worked, this week when we have time, we'll bang out a ton of OD validation tests. And like we talked about earlier with the codoms, and it's hard. Like even OD, like something that's been around for a decent amount of time, it's still not easy to identify an OD, a super OD, a non-OD. So when I'm going through all my sheds to pull for validation, I'm trying to find ones that aren't like, oh, this is a super OD, super pastel, Enchi, Pied, hypo, whatever. I'm trying to find the more basic things that make things easier to ID.
Yeah.
Like OD, I'm trying not to have another one with fire or another brightening thing just to make it harder. And that's the thing, I got to trust what people are putting on these, and also be able to contact them after and be like, hey, you sure about this? Or you get pictures, or, those are the things that take time. Recessives, much, much more straightforward. What albino or a non-albino, it's very easy. But these codoms are a little bit trickier for validation.
Well, there's some layers there, right? I mean, one of the first things you talk about, like when you're getting sheds, it's not just getting any shed that somebody says is orange tree, right? You want to make sure that it's a test, it's an animal that's relatively easy to ID, so you feel comfortable with it, and even more comfortable when, if something goes sideways with the result, you can message people and be like, hey, what does this animal look like? Send me a picture. And it needs to be a morph, right? That's relatively known enough that you can send it to, the council and be like, hey guys, what all does this look like to you? And, and everybody, relatively speaking, be confident enough to say like, oh yeah, this is this, or like, absolutely not this morph. So it's an important part of it, right? It goes back to like, you play the role of gene test maker as well as detective when things start going sideways.
And then, like you said, that's when, if something, say a super comes back as a het, and we're like, we're not sure. Okay, that just adds another 50 that I have to run to, make sure. To
validate,
So those are the things that take time.
Well, and then sometimes the question, right, is like some of these codoms are incomplete dominants. Like the supers aren't, people will call them supers when they're not supers.
Right.
And then you got to go back and be like, hey, like, are you sure that's a super? Send me a picture. And they send you a picture and you're like, hey, I don't want to crush dreams, but that's not a super. Or vice versa. So yeah, man.
So the next one we did was vanilla. That seems to be working great. Jurgen tested a bunch of them. Heather tested some. I'm trying to get it to the point where everything works on the new system right off the bat. So I'm not because I realized that if I release a test and I don't have it on the new system and then when I say new system, I mean something where I could do everything completely here, not have to send things out for Sanger sequencing, where it could take an extra couple days and just make it a lot smoother process if I have everything just running on the same protocol. So I ran it today, and I think I may have ran some vanillas that were not vanillas. And super vanilla worked, all my negatives worked, but like the 2 vanillas that I had in there, I don't think are vanillas. But also the plots that I had weren't great, weren't grouped how I want. So I need to adjust the primers a little bit on that. Okay. But that should be coming out very, very soon. Disco, I could probably release tonight. I ran that.
Okay.
Heather and Jurgen ran that. Everything's been working perfect on that. Probably just do one more small validation run tomorrow on that. And then, I ran hypos today because I wanted to do another run to get some more off the table there. And I had one that came back negative for Jared over at Selective Creations. First, he sent it to me and told me that there was one that he was interested for the results, whatever, because he wasn't sure if it was something different or not. And I gave him his results, and he called me. He's like, "Hey, you sure about 24-13?" I said, "Yeah, it's negative. I'm looking at it right now." "Okay, good." I'm like, "Good." He's like, "Yeah." He's like, "It's a hypo that I have that we believe is another line of hypo." And he sent me pictures. It's clearly a hypo, but it does not test the regular line of hypo. He has the whole backstory of it and everything like that. I'll let him talk about that on his show. But so that's one thing too, that when people ask the accuracy of these tests, it's like, if you didn't know and you just got this snake as a hypo and it's a visual hypo and you send it to me and I test it and I tell you, no, it's not, that's going to be like a tough conversation. Like, then what are we looking at?
Yeah. I think something, and we may have talked about it previously, and if not, we're going to talk about it now. You can get a visual representation of a gene, right? A phenotype with multiple different genotypes. When we talk about genotype, we're talking about the DNA itself and the mutations that cause the look of whatever we're seeing, clown, fire, ultramel, whatever. And so we're looking for these very specific mutations in the DNA code. And if the mutation you're looking for is different than what causes the phenotype, we're not going to see it, right? And we see that with ultramel. That's the perfect one, right? Is ultramel A and B. That's why we have to do 2 tests. Right. This new line of hypo, assuming it's compatible with hypo, with the normal hypos that we all use, it'll just mean you'll have to run multiple tests now,
Right. Yeah. And I don't know if there's a lot of those around or what, but I don't think there are. Sweet. All right. Yeah, Blake, I'm going to grab those. If you have those sheds, I'll grab them from you tomorrow because I would love to get OD
finished up,
validated. Yeah. Because that's been one that a lot of people have been asking me about recently. So
that's good. It's got Jaguar in them too. That's a win. It's a cool gene.
Do you have super Jaguars?
Do I have what?
Does anybody have super Jaguars? Is there a super?
Yeah, Justin and Marcus for sure. I'm sure some of the other breeders up in Canada have it as well. We'll have supers this year. They're really cool, man. They're super banded, super reduced, like really great combo. Well, I like Jaguar a lot. We did last Thursday on Late to the Mic. Marcus Jane was on, and we talked about Jaguar a ton. So if y'all are interested in that gene, little promotion, go back, watch that Late to the Mic episode.
Who did he found that gene or
nope.
just
Charlie? Did you freeze up?
No, you froze.
It's just
up.
On me now. Uh-oh.
There you go.
Was it me that froze?
I think so. I
thought it was you that froze. Doesn't matter. All right, I'm back.
So anyway, Jaguar, did he find the gene or did somebody else in Canada? Or?
Yeah. So Jaguar started at Kevin McCurley's place up in New England at Nerd. He then sold the project to another individual up in Canada, who then sold the entire project to Marcus, and Marcus distributed it from there. So, gotcha. Yeah. It's a cool gene though. So,
And lace, yeah, I did another run of lace, and they all worked again.
Can you share the one comparison photo by chance? Comparison photo of.
I have it on my phone. He sent me the comparison photo of the two hypos. Let me see if I could.
We can just we don't have the power to do that right now, but we can show it next week or next month if you want.
Or
we'll have it for the next episode.
Yeah, I don't know how to get it from.
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll show it. We don't have that kind of power. I mean, we might, but we're technologically illiterate.
No. But yeah, lace. We did another like probably dozen or so lace known white lace laces, and they worked. There's still just 2 laces that I've tested that come back as white lace, and I've tracked down the breeders, talked to the breeders. They're trying to track down the parents or send me sheds to the parents to test them. I've seen pictures. There's definitely possibility that both parents have lace in them. So we'll see.
So I do. We talked about this last episode and talk about it again just because like it is the bane. Lace is one that we like. All tests don't want to get messed up. Lace really can't get fucked up. Like it can't. It's so there are so many times where it is kind of subtle and it's going to cause some issues. And so like,
and it's still a fairly expensive gene.
Yeah,
it changes the price too much for it to be like, oh,
So
I don't think it is, but it's
trying
been
to
all of the known 100% guaranteed lace and white laces and negatives that I've tested have worked.
Yeah, it's literally two animals at this point out of hundreds, and these 2. I've seen pictures of the parents. It wouldn't surprise me if they were white laces.
Right.
So
I know I get asked about it daily, and I get it. Everybody wants it, but just like Monsoon, there's 2 out of hundreds, that have been a pain in the butt, So Monsoon's a little different because we know that it's not now. There is 2 or 3 clearly not visible Monsoons that we've tested that come back. So we know we don't have the actual mutation for Monsoon.
You have a marker.
We have an unbelievably accurate marker.
Yeah.
So it's still, I know Heather in Canada is sequencing. From my knowledge, you could tell me if I'm wrong, since I'm guessing as markers are probably better when they're closer to the actual mutation. Is that correct or not?
It's a reasonable assumption.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and the area where this one is, the genes around it are amazing candidates for Monsoon.
Yeah.
So that's another thing we look at. Like same thing with lace, amazing candidate for the lace mutation. So if for some reason this one isn't, it's going to be hopefully in one of the genes close.
I'm willing at this point, based on the gene that it is, the specific phenotype that it causes in other species.
Yeah,
I would put. I'm 99.9999%.
And Jurgen is too. Right? Like Jurgen in Europe is like, he's like, it's
the only way I would be more confident is if we took that gene and put it into a ball python and got a lace ball python. That would be the only way that we could be. And that's not going to happen. So
let's do it. Let's do it.
Well, but like what's funny, right, is this gene has already been put in other species and it does it. So like it is so yeah, I feel very, very confident we have it. But Charlie's being overly cautious, which is good.
Yeah.
It's annoying, but it's good.
But and that's the thing, like I know everybody was asking about a lot of tests. Everybody wants all these tests out, and I do too. But one, it's really kind of just me. I mean, I work with Canada and Europe a lot on things, but when I'm looking at stuff and ordering primers and running these tests, that takes time. And, in Canada and Europe, they do their stuff in the lab. They do it. I am 100, 200 feet from my house. I have access to a lot more sheds. So a lot of it's on me. So my day job right now is going to be unbelievably busy for the next month. Like it's going to be really bad.
You should probably just quit.
I should, but 9 more years and I'll quit. Well,
Fair enough.
8 years, 11 months, and like 14 days. Not like I'm counting or anything like that.
I love it. I love
yeah,
it.
so I'm going to do my best to keep validating, keep looking for new tests. You might have to bear with me a little bit. I know it's not many huge updates over the last couple months, but the main things we've been working on are ones that people really want, and we really want accurate tests for them. So,
yeah, we don't want to get it wrong. I think that's what's important. No, I think that's good. Pip Stalkers asked about Blackhead. Is Blackhead done?
No.
Okay.
Blackhead, Heather and Hannah been looking for it because is that in the
yeah, it's in the spot nose complex, the spider complex. Yeah.
Is it definitely in that? Because I know we've had conversation with people. Like, is it 100% like allelic with them?
I have not.
Like, if you have a blackhead spot nose, you are never getting normals.
Yes.
Okay.
Based on every clutch I've had, so we have blackhead spot nose clowns. And then I know Justin had black nose spot nose.
Black nose.
Maybe Justin. Yeah, blackhead spot nose. Yeah, maybe Justin had spot nose chocolate stuff. I don't know if he's done blackhead spot nose. Anyway, I can tell you in the blackhead spot nose clown clutches we've had, we've never gotten a normal for what that's worth. So I feel comfortable saying it is. Yeah.
So we were like, because when they do it, you know, they kind of like fish around for look in certain genes and sequence all the different exons within the genes and try to find stuff, but they haven't found it yet like that. So I have a handful of super blackhead sheds. I'm probably just gonna have to send them out for sequencing. And yeah, I have a box full of sheds that are going out for sequencing very soon. I'm just waiting on a handful more of super mandarins that are coming in and super red stripes.
Good,
because I really want to make a really perfect red stripe test. And Mandarin's going to be another one of those where
it's tough, man. They got to be super.
I have a lot of supers here, but I think before I send it all out for sequencing, I'm going to go back and be like, I need pictures of this snake, this snake, this snake, this snake, because now seeing lace and it's going to be tough. That's going to be another one that I'm not looking forward to.
It's almost where like super mandarin hypos will be your best bet to know for sure because they're so obvious. But yeah, that's gonna be another one that's gonna be tough. Red and Ringer is going to make. I don't agree with. So fortunately, I don't think that's gonna make it as difficult as you think. But it is a thing. Normal blackheads are still pretty easy to work with, and Red and Ringer is floating around in it, but it's not enough where I think it's going to cause significant issues with it.
I guess that just is going to mean I'm going to need a little bit more than I'd hope for super forms of blackhead to sequence to make sure that when I get the data back, even if some of them have the red gene and ringer gene in there, it still won't be all of them. So my data blackhead should still float to the top.
If you have supers, yeah, it definitely will. And for the most part, it's pretty easy to spot red and ringer gene in blackhead stock. And so even if you're going back to pictures, you can. So
I'm not too familiar with it. Is it one other gene, red gene, ringer gene, or is it actually
two? It's two. Yeah.
So you could have a red gene, blackhead, and a ringer.
Yeah. Gene. I showed pictures on my Instagram years ago and on a video, but yeah, so we have a red gene, ringer gene, blackhead, and then we showed individual pictures of each morph. So you could see what they all do, or at least, what we believe each one to be based on people we've talked to and everything else. So, yep, right. There's multiple genes there, and they definitely affect the appearance of the animals for sure.
But so Mandarin is going to be another one of those where, even if I get data back, even if I get an amazing candidate, it's going to be one of those that's going to take a little while. I have tons and tons of single gene Mandarin sheds, but
I'm not validating a test on single gene Mandarin tests. So sheds.
And then
it's gonna be tough.
Yeah, it's gonna be hard. but I know it's gonna take time. I mean,
Yeah, guys, patience is the name. It's you, right?
We're moving at an unbelievable speed from where we were prior to shed testing, so
yeah,
I think we're good.
yeah, we're doing okay. We're doing okay.
You
What is it? What is it saying? You can have 2 of 3 things, right? Fast, done well, or expensive.
right.
Or cheap, sorry, not expensive, cheap. And you have to pick 2 of those 3 things. And that's kind of how this works too, right?
Yeah.
Like you can have it done well, but it may not be fast.
Tri-stripe. So hopefully that shouldn't be too bad. I have a decent amount of them. Those, when I send out this next batch of sequencing, is definitely going to be tri-stripe. There's going to be red stripe. There's going to be Mandarin.
Hey, everybody.
What else
hey, Kai, how are you doing, bud?
Hey, Kai. There's at least another 1 or 2 that I have sheds together for that I am going to be sending out.
Yeah.
But, and then when that data gets back, I take quick looks at it. And if there's something amazing right there, right at the top of the list, and it's like, all right, good, let's do it.
Yeah.
But if it's going to be something where I'm going to be digging, you kind of got to prioritize. Like, what do we want out first? What do we want to do?
Yeah.
What's going to take more time?
For sure. Yeah, for sure.
And like even like we have Huffman and Het Red Exantic. Both of those tests are done, good to go, but they're not on the new system yet because I just haven't had time to do it. I don't have the extra space to just run them whenever to make sure it's working. And that's some of the priorities. Like when I have a table full of sheds, priority is getting people their results.
Yeah.
If I do have time to do some validation tests, I'm going to validate Lace a little bit more rather than worry about Huffman right now.
Yeah. Don't worry, guys. Eventually, he's just going to start sending in me to validate in my lab, and life will be good. So don't worry.
Yeah, I think you just need to build a lab there so you don't have to drive too long.
You know what? Fingers crossed. If we have a good snake sales season, I already told you I got a piece of property I'm already planning to buy, and we're going to put a giant ass building there. So maybe the new home of shedtesting.com, Richmond.
And I will quit my job and live there. And
buddy, I'll put a little snake apartment up there for you. It'll be good.
Sweet.
Yeah, it'll be good. Yeah, guys. So like the moral of this week, there, the big updates, right? We have Disco.
Yeah.
Pretty
sure we have
vanilla, but we're gonna run a couple more sheds on that. Mm-hmm. Orange Dream also like right there.
Yeah.
Hey guys, how we doing? And then Lace, guys, look, I know like we're teasing you, and I get it. We just don't want it wrong. Like, so desperately don't want this wrong, guys. Like,
because it's going to have such an impact. And not only like, that's the thing too, like, especially when people are sending me pictures of shit. Like I was talking to Bob Vu yesterday, the day before, and like he had somebody sending him pictures of stuff. I had the same person sending me pictures of stuff, and we both called each other and we're like, no, it's absolutely not Lace at all in any of those. But
which is good.
Right.
But
there's going to be a lot of changes.
Look,
a lot of things are going to have to come off of Morph Market.
I'm going to say it, and this is not me throwing shade. We just don't want a Desert Ghost incident. And that's not me throwing shade.
No.
That's not me trying to be bitter or be like, they rolled with the data they had at the moment.
Yeah.
And I will also say this. I know there is a lot of bitterness and vitriol put towards them in the crash of the Desert Ghost market because of them. Yeah. I don't believe that entirely either.
Me neither.
That gene was massively produced and massively pumped up in price, and it was absolutely begging for a bubble crash. I'm very comfortable to say that the testing situation did not help and people lost faith in some of the heads and stuff like that. But all of that to say, we don't want that to happen with Lace.
And this could be even worse than that. Like, I feel like.
Very much so. Yeah, very much so. There's a lot riding on this, and there's a lot of sales that have been made based on this. And it's, So like, that's why, like, the tease, but there, like I said, there's 2 animals out of hundreds, and you just don't want to be wrong on this one.
So who is going to Atlanta? Patrick, you will be
Yeah.
there. I will be there.
Yeah, real
Anybody in
fast.
the
We'll finish
chat
up
go to
talking about
Atlanta?
that. Yeah, so Bob's show in Atlanta. Guys, roll call. Who else going?
Yeah.
I'm definitely gonna be there. I will be there Thursday night through Sunday night, and then Monday I'm going to hang out at another snake breeder's house for the morning and then drive home then.
Yeah, I'll be there Monday. No, what am I going? Friday morning. I'll
Okay.
get there early, and then I'm leaving late Monday night because I as well be going to a couple
Oh
of
yeah,
breeders in the Atlanta
yeah,
area.
we're going to hang out together, aren't we? I forgot. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Charlie and
So
I get
is
to
the
have some
Fatman
bro
Nation
time.
going? Who's going?
The whole Fat Dan Nation.
Chris is going. Is
Yeah.
all the winners are going, or what?
I think the entirety of Fat Man Nation, all 2,500,000 people.
Yeah.
The whole snake community will be there. No. Yeah, I think all of
Excited
the
because there's definitely a lot of
15
people
lane
that don't always go to Tinley. You know, a lot of the people in Florida
Yeah.
that we talk
Awesome
to all the
Python
time
Prince.
that aren't always going to Tinley. So
Sweet.
we'll see a lot more.
Yeah.
I think I'll get to meet more people face to face there.
I'm gonna try and make lanyards and get them here in time for the show. And if they are there, I'm gonna try.
I have to get so much stuff made by then, and
I don't know if I can, but I'm gonna try.
I snooze my alarm every day that says order stuff.
Yes, me too.
I'll do it tomorrow. And then like I was talking to my wife yesterday or something, like, yeah, so in like 3-4 weeks I go to Atlanta. She's like, yeah, no, that's 2 weeks from
2 weeks from now. Yeah. William will be there in spirit. Oh, that's too bad, bud. Too bad. We'll see you hopefully at Tinley, maybe.
I haven't booked Tinley yet.
I'll be there.
I'll be there. Guess I have to. But
Patrick and his lanyards, yes.
When is Tinley? March what?
Anyway, middle of March. I can't tell you the exact date. I will be there, and I will be passing out tons of swag at Tinley. So just get ready, guys.
You don't have the booth, will you?
I don't have the booth. So JD of JD Constriction is who Chimera's booth was actually owned by. And you know, when Andre and I split up, like we worked out who was going to get the booth and blah blah blah. Anyway, all that to say, JD actually repoed his own booth and said that his girlfriend is going to be using it to sell jumping spiders.
So Chimera won't be there either.
Chimera,
well, vending wise,
I don't know if Andre got a table or not from somebody else. I don't know. He won't be at the same booth location we were at before. So reach out to Andre and ask if he's going to be vending. I assume Andre will be there. We haven't actually talked about Tinley yet. But I will definitely be there, and I will be walking around with my luggage bag, passing out T-shirts, hoodies, and lanyards.
I like not being behind a booth.
So good, isn't it?
Like
so good.
I was gonna. Bob was like, Charlie, you want a booth?
15th and 16th, by the way, for March for Tinley.
So I could have had a booth at Bob's show, and me and him were talking about it, and I was like, I don't know if I want one. He's like, I wouldn't get one. He's like, just walk around. I'm like, all right, I don't want one.
Yeah, it's the way to go. Yeah. It's the way to go.
I mean, I guess I don't know. I feel like there's so, especially, you know, me, there's no reason for me to be stuck behind a booth.
Let's see. I'm going to still add space on my body. I'll start tattooing logos on my leg live. Buddy, you want to get an aura tattoo, you just talk to me. We'll figure something out.
Shedtesting.com right on the forehead. I'll pay you.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. That's amazing. Man. I love that. All right. So real fast, let's recap some of the highlights for the night and then get out of here because Chris has stuff to do and I have stuff to do and you have stuff to do and everybody, we have shit to do.
And the Knicks are playing the Lakers right now. So if they started, nobody tell me the score because I'm not going to look.
It's 13-6. I just checked. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just fucking with you, man. Okay. So real quick, Cliff Notes. We have for sure disco is available. Vanilla is like right there, guys. It will be available.
Yep.
Orange Dream final validations. We're good to go. Yep. Lace is done, but not available because we have 2 weird tests that we got to ferret out first. Mm-hmm. But like, it's like right there as well. It just really right now is just detective portion.
And I got to get back on paint as well. that was validating so good until like 1 or 2 as well. So
that's why we validate. So
that was a kick in the nuts that didn't work. But so I'll get back on that. Again, we have a test for it. It's probably 90 something, close to 100% accurate. But there's 1 or 2 that waiting. Actually, I'm waiting for sheds because one that was clearly not a visual came back visual. So I want to make sure that the shed wasn't mixed up first. So I'm either going to get a scale clipping or a shed from that breeder. But
that's good. And then the Bob show. Oh God, please! It's Southeastern Reptile Show. Is that right?
Southeastern Reptile Expo.
Okay, thank you. We're gonna be there in 2 weeks. If you're there, please come say hi. Tell us how much you love or hate the show. We will take both. And we can't wait to see everybody there. It's going to be an absolute blast. If you can't make it to that show, I'll definitely be at Tinley, and I will drag Charlie there with me.
And it better not be snowing in Georgia because I haven't seen the grass in my yard in a long time. So I would like to not see snow again.
All right, guys, we got to go because in 15 minutes, Snakes and the Fatman is going to be on with Darren Fothrop, and it's going to be amazing. So I got nothing else. I love y'all. Thank y'all for hanging out with us. Hopefully you enjoyed the updates. Charlie?
Yeah. Any questions? Obviously everybody knows how to get a hold of me. Shoot me an Instagram message, email, call, text, whatever. But yeah, any advice, anything you want to think I should be doing different, let me know. I'm always open for constructive criticism.
Love it. Guys, Aura Reptiles everywhere. Please go like, follow, subscribe. You know the deal. We love y'all. Thank you. We'll see you in a month.
Later.